I love slow cooking meat, so I'm going to be slow cooking duck here and not adding it into a rich sauce, but really keeping it light in a Vietnamese style salad with loads of different herbs. Now, to give this duck extra flavour, I'm going to make a beautiful spice rub to go with it. So let's get onto that straight away. Just in a small food processor, just like this one, or you could do this in a big mortar and pestle. We want to bruise some of these aromatics here. So 3 cloves of garlic. So just pound them, crush them a little bit, they can go in. Along with some spring onions, so 2 or 3 spring onions. I'm happy for you to keep the green part here because this is just going to flavour the duck. We'll scrape it off a little later. Also a chilli. You could use the whole chilli with the seeds, or you can take the seeds out. And an easy trick is just to get a teaspoon and just scrape some of those seeds out if you want to remove some of the heat there. And I'll just roughly chop it into 4. That can also go in. And I love ginger. I love ginger a lot with duck in particular. So I'm going to use a good 2 to 3 centimetre piece of ginger, and we're just going to slice it really roughly again, and that can go in. And some 5 spice, some Chinese 5 spice for this. This has some great flavours, again, that really pair quite nicely with duck. So there's star anise in there and some cinnamon and a little bit of pepper there. I'm going to add a heaped teaspoon. I've already toasted this, so I'm already starting to extract some of the flavours from the spice. And just to emulsify all this together, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now I'll add some salt, so a good pinch of salt. I'm adding a fair bit of salt here because I need this to not only season the paste here, but also season the duck. So I might even add a little bit more now. Great. And some sesame oil. Sesame oil has a really great flavour, and don't be shy to use it. You don't want to overdo it, but not 3 drops. I want at least half a teaspoon. Great. Now I can just put my lid on and we'll give this a little blitz. All right, let's have a look. Oh, that's perfect. The smell, beautiful. That's the smell I want. I can smell each individual flavour there. Now let's get onto the duck. I've preheated my oven to 160 degrees. This is going to cook for a long time, like I said, so you don't want it to be quite hot. You want the fat on the duck to really melt slowly. So we'll take it out of the pack. I've also removed this from the fridge about 45 minutes ago because I do want it to come to room temperature. Now for this whole duck, you want to pat it really dry, remove the neck if the neck's on it, and take the wing tips off. Why am I patting this? Because I want to make sure that there's not any excess moisture because I want this paste to stick on the duck. So clean that up. Also in the cavity there, and the duck is ready. That's all the prep you really need to do to it. I'm just going to move it to the side now and give yourself a bit of room. I'm going to be wrapping the duck up. So we're going to start with a bit of glad bake, 2 long pieces of glad bake, and I want to overlap the second piece, just like that, so it's extra protection there. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon and a half of this mixture on the base here. Just spread it out a little bit because we want the base to be flavoured as well as the top. Gosh, that smells good. So the duck can now go on top there. And now we'll get the remaining paste. We'll just take the little blade out there, and then we want to smother it in this. Keep a little bit back because I want to add that to the cavity so it flavours the duck from the inside out also. So just a small amount in there. Perfect. And then you can use a spoon or get rid of that spoon and get your hands in there. Massage that duck all over. Another little tip, you can leave this as is, but a nice trick is to get your knife and just use the tip of your knife or a skewer just to pierce the top of the duck, the legs, just over here, even down here. And then that will ensure that we get extra flavour into that meat. I don't need to put this in the fridge to marinate because it's going to be cooking for 3.5 hours. So let's wrap it up and get it straight into the oven. So fold it over. Not so tight so that it can't breathe, just tucking both sides up or down, I should say. Gorgeous. And just to keep that in place, just for extra assurance, a little bit of twine. Just get a nice long piece there. Cut that off. And now just from the top there, we'll fasten it. So fasten at the top and then start from the top and then twist it around and then tie it just like you're wrapping a present. Great, I'll just trim that up. Now I need 2 pieces of foil and I'm going to double up on the foil. Long pieces here. And we'll get our duck, surprise. We'll put it on our foil and then again just wrap it up. And now this is going to go on a tray into the oven, 160 degrees for that 3.5 hours. Now the duck has come out of the oven and it's been cooling for a few hours, and in the meantime what I was doing is just getting my essentially lettuce leaves ready, these herbs. This is going to make up the salad, and in here I've got some mint and coriander and some Thai basil. Wonderful flavours, really fresh flavours with the duck. And I always keep it in some chilled, really icy water, and you'll see if it's looking a little bit sad, it's going to come back to life and stay really crispy and perky, just like that. So let's leave that to the side and let's get on to a dressing. I've got 1 lime here. We'll cut that in half and we'll give that a really good squeeze. I use a spoon here just to get as much of that juice out as possible because limes, they're not cheap. And I want a good hit of this, so another lime and squeeze that in. So that's the acidity for this dressing, and a tablespoon of thick soy sauce. And I like this because it's a little bit sweet too. So in it goes. And for some extra saltiness, some fish sauce here. So 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. 1, 2, and I'll add a tablespoon of sugar. Great. And just to dilute it a little bit, I've got a little bit of water, so about 2 tablespoons of water in there. Mix that up. Now let's have a look at this duck. I'm going to unwrap it. Oh, it smells really, really good. And it has cooled down a lot. I want it to cool down because I don't want this to be a hot salad. I want this to be a room temperature salad. If this duck is too hot, what's going to happen is it's going to really wilt all those fresh herbs. So a room temperature, and it can sit there for a few hours. Oh, this looks fantastic. This is so good. This is a salad that a friend actually made for me when I came over to her house. I'm like, how did you do that duck? And this is how she did it, and I've been doing it ever since. And just have a look at this leg here. It just falls off. Oh, that makes me very happy. You know this is going to be so tasty. Now I get rid of the skin with this duck because it's quite soft, it's not crispy. We just want the inside there where it's really, really tender, that meat. Just a sneaky piece because it tastes so good. Oh, it is beautiful. So I'm going to remove all the meat off and then we'll make this salad. Gosh, I'm a greedy guts. I've got a bit of the meat here. I've also added a little bit of that marinade, and our herbs can go in, drain them off really, really well. We don't want any of that water in there. Perfect. And then they can go in there. And now, this is where you can go crazy. Add whatever you like to it. I'm just adding some bean sprouts here. Good handful. And crunch. I always talk about that texture, texture, texture when it comes to salads. Some peanuts that have just been toasted, unsalted. In they go, just a handful. And this is some fried shallots. Now, fried shallots you can get from all grocery stores now, just in the Asian aisle. I'll just keep a little bit for the end. And now for that really nice dressing that we made, I've got quite a lot here, so I'm going to add about half of it. I'll get a fork and I'm just going to toss this around in the duck. I'm going to just get my hands and I'm just going to pile it up. on another plate here. Give it some height. Another little bit here. Look at all those herbs. And a little bit of those crunchy shallots on top. That is spectacular. Now, I did have a taste of it before, but I need to have another taste just to make sure that all that dressing has coated it perfectly, and because I love it that much. Unbelievable. That is the best duck salad you'll ever make, I promise.